All right, today we're going to look at a really brilliant piece of environmental engineering, something that's helping to heal our waterways one pipe at a time. It's called the FlexiBaffle, and believe it or not, it solves a huge hidden problem that might literally be right under your feet.
So let's just start with a big question. You see roads and bridges and railways every single day. But what if all that stuff, all that essential infrastructure, is actually creating thousands of dead ends for the life that's flowing in our rivers and streams?
Well, the problem often comes down to something we barely even notice: the culvert. Yeah, those big pipes that move water under our roads. The thing is, while they're great at moving water, they also create this invisible wall that, for a lot of species, is just impossible to get past.
So here's what's actually happening. To move water, super efficiently, culverts are built to be really smooth, often steep channels. And this just cranks up the water speed, right? It turns a nice, gentle stream into a high-speed flume. If you're a fish trying to swim upstream, well, it's like trying to climb a waterfall that's blasting like a fire hose. There's just no way.
And look, this isn't just a problem for the big-name swimmers like salmon and trout. This barrier, it just shatters the habitat for a huge range of aquatic life. We're talking eels, amphibians, reptiles, even the tiny little invertebrates that are the foundation of the entire food web. When they can't move, the whole ecosystem, it just starts to fall apart.
Okay, so the problem is obviously massive. But the solution we're digging into today, it is so simple and so flexible, it's genius. Let's check it out.
Okay, meet the FlexiBaffle. So, what is it? At its core, it's basically a flexible weir. Just think of it like a small, rubbery dam that you put inside a culvert. And its whole job is to break up that crazy high-speed flow, create deeper, slower water, and give fish and other critters a much-needed spot to rest.
Probably the easiest way to picture this is that they turn a boring, high-speed pipe into a fish ladder. I mean, that's it right there. That simple idea just perfectly explains how they work. They create these little steps and pools that animals can use to get from one end to the other, kind of like in a natural stream.
Let's break down exactly how they help. First off, they slow the water down. That's job number one. And because of that, they create these nice, calm resting pools right behind each baffle, so fish can take a break and save their energy. And what's really cool is that all of this together starts to mimic the natural pool and riffle you see in a healthy stream. It makes the culvert feel like home again.
And these things are built to last. They're made from a material called EPDM. It's a super durable, non-toxic synthetic rubber. I mean, think about the stuff they use for medical equipment or pipes for drinking water. It's tough as nails, it doesn't break down into microplastics, and there are no nasty chemicals. It's totally safe, even for the most sensitive little critters.
Now, of course, people have tried to solve this problem before, but as you're about to see, this is a much smarter way to do it. Let's see how it stacks up against the old school methods.
So on one side, you've got the old way of doing things, rigid baffles made of concrete or metal. And yeah, they're heavy, they get clogged with debris, they actually reduce how much water the culvert can handle, and putting them in is a huge, expensive project. But then you've got FlexiBaffles. They're flexible, so debris just passes right by, installation is easy and way cheaper, and they bend out of the way during big floods to keep the pipe's capacity. I mean, it's not even a fair fight, really. And then, you gotta talk about the money. Look, the gold standard solution is usually to just rip out the whole culvert and replace it, but that is incredibly expensive and disruptive. Installing FlexiBaffles, it costs less than 1% of a full replacement. That is a massive difference. It's a practical, affordable fix that we can actually use right now, pretty much anywhere.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. If you stick something inside a pipe, isn't it just going to clog up with leaves and sticks and all that junk during the first big storm? And you know what? That is a totally fair question.
And the answer is right there in the name. They're flexible. When you get those big floods and all that debris is moving downstream, the baffles just fold down flat and let everything wash right over them. Then when the water level goes back down, they pop right back up, ready to do their job again. It's so simple and so smart.
So, all this sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work out in the real world? Well, the evidence is pretty amazing, actually. Let's take a look at some of the results.
I just want you to look at this number for a second. 70. 70 years. What on earth could that possibly mean?
That number represents 70 years of silence. See, at a place called Bon Accord Creek in British Columbia, a single bad culvert had blocked Pacific salmon from getting to their spawning grounds for 7 decades. And then, after installing these FlexiBaffles, they came back. That's not just an engineering win, folks. That's literally bringing an ecosystem back from the dead.
And that wasn't just some lucky one-off story either. This whole idea started in New Zealand, and now it's gone completely global. We're talking thousands of these things installed all over the world, Australia, Europe, all across North America. It proves this tech works in all kinds of different environments.
All right, so the last piece of the puzzle is, how practical is it? Because a great solution isn't so great if it's impossible to actually use. And this, right here, is where the FlexiBaffle really shines.
The process is just super simple. You figure out the right size and how far apart to space them for your culvert. Then you just attach them with normal hand tools. You use screws for plastic or metal pipes and anchors for concrete. We're talking a few minutes per baffle. A small team can get a whole bunch of culverts done in a single day.
But maybe the biggest deal, the real game changer for any project like this, is that you don't have to dewater the culvert. That means no expensive, complicated process of rerouting the stream. You can often install them while the water is still flowing, which saves a ridiculous amount of time, money, and just general headache.
And these things are incredibly versatile. They work in pretty much any culvert shape you can think of. Round, box, arch, you name it. And any material too. Concrete, plastic, metal. It doesn't matter if the culvert is brand new or if it's been in the ground for 50 years. You can retrofit these to make it work.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know about this simple, pretty affordable solution, start looking around your own town, your own community. How many of those hidden barriers are out there under your roads? And more importantly, how many of our rivers are just waiting for a chance to be connected again?